Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnetdale.
And I'm Jane Aerith Magnetdale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
That's us.
It's us. It's a podcast. We're here. We're the ones what do a show. We're wifey types. We talk about what we've done media-wise in the week.
We're here, we're queer, we're talking in your ear. Queer and
Exactly.
pleasant strangers.
That being said, I had the realization we're very imminently close to this podcast going on a hiatus for a bit. Because we are like a couple of weeks away from the hiatus.
The hiatus. We've never had one of those before.
We've never had one of those. We've missed the old week.
In 364 episodes, we've never had a hiatus.
We've occasionally, there's been a week here or there where like work travel or things have been going on, but we are, we've got an adventure. We've got an adventure coming up that unfortunately lined up exactly with the one night a week we have for Quips.
Indeed.
So we got to squeeze all the quips into this quips that we can, ready for when you're going to have a little upcoming period of quipslessness.
Yeah,
how will you survive?
quipsies.
How will you manage?
Oh, huddle around old episodes, listen to the skitisodes.
Huddle around old episodes for warmth.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, a little morsel of discussion of media. I'll listen to this episode in portions. I'll ration it out. Well, we've been playing some stuff.
We have.
This past couple of
we've
weeks.
played some boarded games.
We played some boarded games, and did we play video games? I played a little bit of video games.
You played video games you can't talk about.
I
haven't had time to play video games because I've been hunched inside I took a week off from my day job to spend the entire week inside a recording booth recording the accessibility? No.
Who Hunts the Whale?
Who Hunts the Whale audiobook.
Yes, I can acknowledge I've been playing Ghost of Yotei. I can't say much. I can't say much other than I
have played this game.
Yeah, I've played Ghost of Yotei. I've not really had time to play other video games because I've been playing Ghost of Yotei.
I'm not allowed to say, for example, I had a good time with it, or I had a terrible time with it, or I had a mediocre time with it.
No.
You can't say any of those things.
I can say on, I believe, the 25th of September,
Which
there'll
is
be
next Thursday, I think?
at 2 p.m. UK. I'll have a review up, and then you can find out what I think of a thing that stopped me playing video games most of this week.
It did.
I had a couple of days in between to go like, oh, I'll do some shiny hunting in Pokemon, and now another work game has shown up that I can't talk about, and I'm like, it's that time of year where it's like, what did I do with my week? I played games. Can't tell you nothing about
them.
But I did play some.
Yeah.
But should we talk about the board games we played this week?
We shall.
Where do you want to start?
Should we start with Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated to something magic?
Yeah, Clank Legacy Season 2, basically.
Yeah.
We've been playing this on and off for a few months at this point,
I think we're heading to like 6 months at this point.
We are, what, like four
missions
games?
in.
Four
Yeah.
missions in. I feel like way more than the first season of this, we're generally only getting one game in a day when we meet up with friends.
Yes.
It's a good, like, 4+ hour adventure.
It's a much more dense map, because we've got a picture of us holding up our completed map from the first game. And although the board is double-sided like all regular Clanks, the fact that, like, I think I counted something like 50 squares on the board we have already, and it's still not finished. There's still spaces for more things.
Yeah, there's stuff that we've either missed or we haven't yet found how to place.
I'm pretty sure most of it is stuff we haven't yet found, because we've got one more mission on that side of the board, then we're going to do a whole bunch of missions on the other side of the board, and I guess fill that out. And then we come back for the last 3 missions, and I suspect there's going to be even more shit to happen in between.
Yeah, I think one of the places that we filled in our most recent one came from a quest that I picked up when I read that mysterious page 99 of the book.
Ooh.
So I don't know if maybe some other things in there might lead to some of the other, like, conspicuous gaps we have. But yeah, it's a dense board, that one.
Yes, right?
There was a super interesting point scoring mechanic introduced in the mission we played.
Oh, yes?
This weekend. There was a player who got a very powerful tool in their deck, and I suspect only didn't win this week because they a couple of times shuffled their discard pile into their hand accidentally, and therefore weren't drawing the very powerful card as quickly as they could have been. I think that very quickly could have spiraled into big wins for them.
Indeed.
It was one of those mechanics that when it came up, we all sort of went, "Ooh, that's a scary thing to introduce."
That's a scary thing to introduce and then take away from you at the end of the mission. And put it away in the filing cabinet for when you've finished the campaign and you play the things again. Because I did have to go, when do these things come back out of the filing cabinet? And the BGG, Board Game Geek community seems to largely agree that you will either be told to remove it or it's going to happen once you finish the campaign and you're just playing regular game.
But yeah, there was some interesting mechanical stuff in this new mission. Without getting too specific, there was sort of a protect the NPC element introduced that mechanically was very interesting.
Oh, yes.
The way it was introduced, we initially all sat around the table and went, can we just, like, do this thing? And will that, like, make it... will that be a really easy way to save the NPC?
Sort of.
And the game design was such that it's like, kind of, but not really. They'll still kind of be at risk.
And also, there are so many different ways that further risk will happen once it's in your hand, but you're not going to have that information.
So that was like a really interesting idea where it gave us an opportunity to go, we can sidestep the problem, right? No, we can't sidestep the problem.
We could, in fact, not sidestep the problem.
But it's nice to feel like you've outsmarted the game and then have the game go, ha ha, we saw you coming with that.
Indeed, yes. There was one thing that would have deleted, trashed from the game every card that mentioned Clank in your hand or hand, play area, or discard pile.
Yeah.
So potentially that would have been really... And that thing triggered on arrival and then triggered again if it had finished getting all the way to the end of the thing.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on there.
There was a lot of very vicious things trying to stop us having the nice narrative.
But between us, I think we did a good job and completed a whole bunch of both personal and general shared missions.
I think everyone had their highest point scoring game that they'd had.
Can't tell about you, because it just said that you got the top score. But everyone else, it was like, you had your best game.
And we all came back with, way more health than we usually come back with as well.
Indeed. We'd all had opportunities to trash cards quite early, which meant that we were able to get rid of one stumble really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then there was a time, I want to say, maybe 2/3 of the way through the game where we all managed to get rid of our second stumble.
Yeah.
So it was we're not generating a lot of Clank, which is why I didn't feel too bad buying the singing flail.
Yeah.
I was like, it's late enough in the game that this probably isn't going to come out very often.
It was nice that the game changed enough in this fourth play that it felt a little more okay to buy some of the this will hurt you a little bit, but it will do something cool cards that we've been very much avoiding.
Yes, and we've managed to hold, for the most part, back Hex score quite well.
Yeah. The game continues to be evolving in interesting ways. I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
I'm curious when we eventually flip to the other side of the board, how that's going to go.
Oh.
Having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, enjoying it. It's been another good adventure, and another reason to think about legacy games from the point of view of, yes, they are expensive at outlay, but considering how much game you're getting out of them, and especially with the Clank legacy ones, the fact that you will still have a playable game at the end of it, I think is a big sell on that sort of thing. And plus, Clank's a really good game.
Yeah.
What about you? What else have you played?
We played another board game that was a lovely, very sweet birthday gift.
A birthday gift for you, whose birthday has just been.
It was my birthday. We played the A.R.T project, or the A.R.T project. The A.R.T project, but that's an acronym. I don't exactly know what it stands for currently.
Art Retrieval Team.
That's my guess. I was gonna say, I think that's probably what it is. It's a game about reclaiming artworks that have been stolen by, quote, the White Hand.
Which we all joked was the British Museum.
We all had the vibe of the White Hand has been taking cultural artifacts from places they shouldn't be, have they? We gotta go reclaim them. Fucking white people. Terrible.
Fucking white people.
Particularly British white people.
Reminded me of that video game that's coming out, or
yes, Relooted?
Relooted, yes.
I believe, yeah, which I have a demo build for, and I really want to check out. I'm excited to give that a go.
About repatriating stolen art from largely European museums.
Indeed. But yeah, the Art Project is a cooperative game that is, it feels weirdly tonally similar in its mechanics to something like Pandemic in the way that it is paced, because you are basically like each turn every player draws a couple of cards, and those cards will cost some resources but help you gain some resources, and will make things worse in some places on the board in that sort of oh no, we're generating pandemic cubes or whatever kind of way. And if a place gets up to 5 white hands on it and you don't go, like, deal with that
becomes inaccessible.
Yeah, it'll bring you closer to the end of the game, but also will make navigation harder, so you're trying to keep that from happening. And the cards that you play do two things. They change what resources you have, which is useful for moving around the board, fighting off the white hand, reclaiming resources, but they also dictate where pieces of art are going to show up by which, if you put if you play cards that have 3 of the same symbol, a piece of art will show up in that location.
Yes.
And you're maybe trying to coordinate so that the art pops up in places that are going to be easy to retrieve it from. Because the more white hands there are in a place, the higher the number that the people you send there have to roll on some dice to defeat them and to get the art. And the more times you've retrieved art, the higher that number's going to get. So yeah, what did you make of this?
I think it's a fantastic condensation of the pandemic vibe, because rather than things being dealt with by 2 or 3, basically 3 types of cards, you are adding things to the board with the cards that you are personally playing.
Yep.
You're gaining your resources and losing resources through the cards you're playing. And the only, real separate thing is moving, which doesn't have, the action economy that you have in regular Pandemic. It's just how much fuel or life have you got to spend as fuel to move around. And I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that, like any good game of Pandemic, we lost our first game.
But by literally one number on one die, if one of the die had one number higher, we'd have won.
Yep.
If we'd had one of any resource left, we'd have won.
Yep.
We were so down to the wire, and in hindsight, we can totally see how we would have won. In the penultimate round, if we'd been more willing to let a place go into the negative state rather than fighting it, we'd have had a little extra resources we could have used on the final push for the art.
Like a good game of Pandemic, being able to use your permanent losses, use your outbreaks, it should be a resource, and you should treat it like that.
But it was the first game, and we didn't know how cautious to be of them yet.
Yeah, we hadn't quite worked on the pacing of the thing. The increased pacing works quite well as well, because obviously the more art you recover, the harder it is to fight off the white hand, and that drives you towards other things like trying to get enough, deliberately trying to drive up the amount of walkie-talkies you've got in order to get more assistance, but to get the cost of assistance is more expensive at the beginning of the game, and less expensive later on. So it's a real juggling act of what you can do.
So to explain the resource system, you have fuel for your van, you have guns, and you have walkie-talkies. And any of those resources, at most, you can have 6 of. They are limited. You can't stockpile more than 6.
That might be different in higher player counts, but we were playing in 4.
Yeah. Fuel is used to move players around the board, which, the default, the board they recommend for your first game has, maybe 7 locations on the whole board. So nowhere's ever that far away, but you've got to move around to get there. Guns can be used in combat, which is, let's say 2 people went to do a fight. The number of white hands plus a modifier would tell you what number you need to beat. Each person who went there could roll their 1 to 6, their d6 to try and beat that number. You could add guns to be add 2 to our result. or you could get rid of cards which would make it harder for you to get new art out onto the board, but to get some rerolls. And then there's walkie-talkies, which you can spend walkie-talkies to get additional die, that no matter how many people you send to a particular fight, you can use those extra die in every combat encounter. Yeah. And those are going to become very, very vital for some of the higher level encounters.
But also the cards you play will have a cost on them, and that's usually 2 or 3 things, and those things could be fuel or guns or walkie-talkies or health. And each character only starts with 3 health.
But they can have...
They might return
pretty high
as many things or more things sometimes.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, also they're generating you these icons which are helping you find art locations.
The hearts are really interesting because they're not nearly as resource constrained as any of the other things that you can only have a max of 6 of. There is a pretty big pool of hearts, and you can have as many hearts on a character as there are tokens to give out to people. And hearts are a wild resource you can use to be any other resource, which makes them really useful. But they are also your health, and if you lose a fight, you do lose a heart. And if any person loses all their health, everyone's out. Yeah, you can't do the I'll use my last heart to be an extra bullet to get us through this fight and I'll be out. It's no, you all get through or none of you get through. Yep. But yeah, it scratches a very pandemic-esque itch in a condensed format that feels mechanically unique enough to be, worth playing separately, with a good variety of boards, and I'm curious to see how differently they play. It's a very interesting game with a good narrative theme to it that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you played anything else?
I played a little bit of something today, just because I was I need to play something that isn't just shiny hunting in Pokemon to have stuff to talk about this week on various shows where I talk about things. I've started playing around with the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC, Emerald Rush.
Yeah.
So, I have been enjoying this with a little caveat. So this new DLC is post-game content for the game that is a sort of roguelike mode. As you play through it, you unlock more maps and you can go back to layers you've been to elsewhere in the game, but it's basically, here's a timer, get as much emerald gemstone as you can. Every time you break fossils or banandium gems from the base game, you get upgrades and modifiers that will change how you collect things. I think it's fossils give you randomized power-ups that might be things I've got a bigger modifier now so that when I collect emeralds, that's increasing my emerald count faster, or bananas seem to be more to do with regaining your skill tree stuff from the main game.
Yeah, so you ability to ride on dirt and ability to punch harder. And
exactly. And you're trying to balance the two of those to maximize the speed at which you're getting the gem stuff. The locations of bananas and gems and fossils don't change from run to run. Okay. It is purely about the randomized rewards you get and the choices you make on the skill tree as to whether you will be more, be able to succeed more on a future run. And that's kind of interesting. It does mean you have the combination of some randomized elements, but you can also very much plan what you think is an optimal route, which is kind of cool. My big thought about it is it feels really close to the main game's release for this paid DLC to be coming out. And playing it, it's the first time in a little while that I've played a DLC and gone, I'm glad it's at least post-launch, but this really feels like at some point it might have been planned to be the post-game for this game, and it feels a little cheeky. It feels a little like you carved something out to sell it back slightly later, and I wouldn't have minded that so much if it, released a bit further down the line, or even if the base game of Donkey Kong Bonanza had been a little cheaper. It feels a little like we didn't want to price... we wanted to price the game here, but we thought people might complain. So we priced it a little lower and carved a little bit out and sold that little bit back later. And I can't quantify that. Maybe that's an unfair assessment for me to make, but
it doesn't change the feeling.
I'm having fun with it, and I can see myself getting my money's worth out of playing it, but I can't shake that feeling. This feels a little too soon and like a thing that you cut out. This feels a little like you sliced it out. Which is not a great feeling, but I'm having fun with the content.
I'm glad.
This is one of those... I wonder if I would feel more critical if I weren't able to justify this as a work expense. I think that has made me focus more on the enjoyment I am having out of it. That little scratching feeling that you carved a bit out to sell me back later, I think outside of a work context would probably annoy me more.
Fair.
But yeah, that's the new Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC. I'm having fun with it, but it does feel a little cheeky. What about you? You played anything else this week?
That's it for me. It's been as I said, I've been locked in a wicker shed, which I really thought I was going to get more time to just have a bit of a futz around, but no, I got my head down and I said all my words. I enunciated properly.
Audiobooks be like that. They're bigger than they feel.
A surprising amount of drain. Especially for someone who does not really talk a lot. So.
Yep. The couple of days I spent in the gender euphoria booth.
In the gender booth.
In the gender booth. It's real work. Well done, audiobook narrators. You do your money's worth.
Yes, pay voice actors. Pay real voice actors.
Exactly. Well then.
Time for this. Are you finding things starting to get pretty chilly?
Yeah.
Are you wishing you were a bit snug? Are you finding that your summer wardrobe just isn't cutting it in the evenings anymore?
Uh-huh.
Then pull cord for autumn. It makes your socks 70% fluffier, your leggings 90% warmer, and your sleeves 100% longer. And your hat just much cozier. Little ear flaps come down, cover your little ears over. You're all so much more cozy now.
No.
That's pull cord for autumn. Just pull down and get cozy. Hey Laura.
Yeah?
We got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you have any interest in genealogy?
I mean, in theory, my family spreads out from quite a range of places in the world, there's probably something interesting in there, maybe.
A theory, you say? Would you consider it a game theory?
Not particularly. It's an ancestry theory, I guess.
A game theory? Would you be interested in, say, if your granddad collected board games?
Oh! I mean, that's not usually part of ancestry, but I would be interested to know that.
It's not ancestry, it's fancestry.
Oh!
They will use your DNA and send you a family tree, the one that only tells you what each of your relatives' hobbies were.
Oh!
Were they into making little paper butterflies?
Aww.
Did they like to dress up as a large woolen sheep long before fairies were understood to be a thing?
Ooh. I don't like that Great Uncle Frank just says stabbing. That shouldn't be a hobby.
Stabby Uncle Frank.
Stabby Great Uncle Frank. That's not a hobby. Great Uncle Frank.
Great Uncle Frank would disagree.
I bet he would.
He would. He was the Devon stabber.
Oh, well. There's me. I learned a thing today.
You did. So many murders have been solved thanks to the hobby of Stabby Uncle Dan. And also, let's not forget, 3,000 years before that, we had someone who was very into lining up nuggets of bronze.
Ooh! I'm looking even further up here. Discovering that fire exists.
Wow!
That's pretty
Congratulations on being related to the discoverer of fire.
Well, I don't know if Ugg was the first one to make fire, or just someone else made fire and he saw it and was like, I now know that I now know fire exists.
Maybe
that's my hobby, knowing that fire's real.
Yeah, love knowing about fire. Well done, Uncle. Great, recurring Ugg. Well done, well done. I wish them all the luck in the past. But now we're here, and you're learning about the past. It's fancestry.lol.net. Enter the code Q&PS. What they do. And you can find out what they did.
Enter the code Stabby.
Enter the code Stabby. And you can find out what your great uncle did at a discount. And then you can use
Was
the
he
other...
also a fan of stabbing?
You can use the other code if you want to know what the rest of the family tree did. But Stabby will just tell you about your great uncle. So enjoy that, I guess. So, Laura,
Yes?
what did you stick in your eyes and or ears?
We put some films in our collective eyes, some together, some we watched separately, but we both watched.
Yes.
Shall we start with Honey Don't?
Let's start with Honey Don't.
That was a fucking delightful
It
film.
was a delightful film.
That was a very fun film.
Yeah, I mean, A-Cab.
Yeah.
And also that one cop.
That one cop that does not
Doesn't seem to understand lesbians.
Oh, that's what you always say.
I'm into girls.
Oh, you always say that.
Because I'm into girls.
Oh, look at you saying that.
That's me saying
Oh,
that.
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day.
Yeah. This is a film about a lesbian private detective who is investigating a mysterious death and a weird sex cult and some other connected bits of mystery.
Yes.
And it's very fun and very queer.
Yes.
And
it's like, what if lesbian Columbo met Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels?
Yes. Yes.
It's the closest an American movie I've seen has got to that, like, British gangster movie, slightly bumbling gangster movie. Like, especially when, that guy is sent to kill the younger guy.
Yeah.
And, like, that whole scene of them fighting in that house.
Yes. It's a film that feels like it would fit in great in a marathon alongside that lesbian road trip with the briefcase film,
Drive Away Dolls.
Drive Away Dolls, and that one I saw with the huge lesbian.
Isn't one of those people in this film?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. It's in that sort of comedic, a little bit violent, crime-oriented lesbian adventures.
Yeah, I think Chris Evans did a brilliant job as the cult leader.
Oh, Chris Evans is a fantastic sex cult leader. He's got exactly the right kind of I don't quite trust you energy.
Yeah.
The most telling thing I can say about his character is there is a moment where he's asking a woman to reposition a mirror
that she's holding.
Yep, and I was convinced he was doing it to see his face at that
while
moment.
they were having sex.
Yeah, I was surprised when it wasn't move the mirror so I can see my own face mid-sex.
No, he wanted to see her boobs.
But I think that is such a good sign of how well he did that character, though.
Yeah.
I was willing to believe he was that vain in mid-sex.
Oh, yes.
What's the lady cop's actor's name?
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza did great in this as well.
Amazing. To the point where I didn't recognise her at one point.
I really love the assistant to the private investigator.
Brilliant. Yeah, at least let me make you coffee.
Very. There's a lot of very fun casting choices in this.
I was absolutely into the scene at the bar where Honey first meets Aubrey Plaza's character, meets her for a date, and they're doing something at the bar that I have also done, not at a bar but on a train, and I was just like, "Yep, that do be lesbians meeting."
It's lesbians meeting and doing the let's head for home before we get arrested.
There's also just some really funny, like, random throwaway lines in this film.
There were. It is a very fun film that, even at the times where I could sort of see where some of the plot beats were leading to, and it was maybe a little heavy-handed in its foreshadowing, the precise things about, like, the how of where it was going still caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And the journey was definitely enjoyable enough that I didn't really care if I could see little bits of it heading certain ways.
Yeah.
The supporting cast is all very interesting. Honey's niece, I think it is a really interesting character.
Oh, the emo?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a real good film for if you're in the mood for some, like, lesbian action and a bit of man-hating.
dealing with the niece's boyfriend really covers that whole section.
Yeah, it is a film that's great if you want to go, women are great, loving women is great, men are all shitty, gross sex pests. Feel a little empowered in that?
I need to feel a little bit empowered.
Yeah.
Especially after seeing what marched through London the other day.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about the other thing we both saw this past week? That
we watched Caught Stealing.
We had a great time, but we both felt a little misdirected by the marketing.
The trailer for this film made Matt Smith seem like a much bigger character.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll watch Doctor Who in something else.
It also seemed like it was going to be more consistently a slightly bumbling... It's funny you mentioned Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. It felt like it was going to be more that tone.
Yeah, but it isn't. It's more layer cake. It's way more... it's way more aggressive and violent and... just... like, unflinching.
But also heartfelt and sentimental in a lot of places.
Oh yeah, it absolutely has these really beautiful moments. But there are moments which are just, like, the worst thing happens. And you're like, ow. Ow, the worst thing happened, and now I feel really sad.
So for context, this is a film set in the late 90s in New York, where Matt Smith plays a British punk who basically says to his neighbour, my dad's had a stroke, I've got to go back to the UK for a bit, look after my cat. And then the next thing that this neighbour knows, there are, like, people trying to kick down Matt Smith's door, and, like, they beat up the neighbour for, like, being proximate to this.
Yeah, there's, like, Russian gangsters turning up at the door who are clearly head cases.
Very quickly, they decide... Hey, I know that literally the guy gave you a cat and left, but you clearly, like, we've decided you must know
something.
What we want to know.
It looks like we might be about to pull out your bollocks with a pair of pliers.
Yeah, I know that you know nothing, but fucking learn some shit, because we're going to beat you up until you tell us what we want to know.
Yeah.
There is some real levity in that film, despite how bleak and heavy it at times is.
Yes.
I think, like, its middle portion is very heavy, but its finale is kind of great.
Yes. I mean, especially there is a musical cue in that finale moment that just had me giggling. It's really subtle, but, like, if you're listening for it, it's just like, It has some of the most delightfully fun foreshadowing in its finale. Yes.
In the kind of way where it's like, you realise what it's foreshadowing.
It can only mean one thing.
It can only mean one thing, and it's clear where it's leading, but the film knows that you know, and it really plays up the build-up of when are we going to pay that off. So that's pretty great. When Matt Smith is in the film...
he is brilliant.
He is fantastic in his role.
Yes.
It's such a convoluted, layered chaos of a narrative, but it does work.
Yes.
If you explained on paper the plot of this film, it would sound like a nightmare. In practice, they made it very digestible.
Yeah.
This plan nestled inside this, and these, like, 6 different people trying to get different things out of situations.
And then the moment where it's all explained, and you're just like, oh, actually, that's really very reasonable. I kind of understand how this all happened.
That's a very sensible thing. I see how
the inciting incident, and how
I see how it happened, and I see how it's nobody's fault, but I see how people would get very upset that it happened.
Yes.
Yeah, if you go in with the right expectations, it is a very good film.
Yeah.
That cat was wonderful. I like the cat.
It's such a pretty cat.
I was constantly like, that cat's got to be okay.
Tonic must be okay.
You can't let anything happen.
Even when Tonic had a limp.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Yes. I can't remember what the cat's called in the film, but the actor cat is called Tonic.
I was going to say, I don't remember the name Tonic coming up in the film, but yeah, it's a good cat.
And it does credits weird. I know we recently complained. Was it the Phoenician scheme that had like sideways fucking credits?
Yeah.
This has backwards credits, occasionally sideways credits on the side, but it's trying to be very punk.
It cannot decide it's deliberately changing what its credits are anytime you feel like you've understood what its credits are, and my autism did not like it.
No, but we did get to enjoy the animated cat.
It was beautiful artistically, but I was like, no, do one thing and do it. Credits is not a place for fun.
I mean, you can intersperse it with fun.
Yes,
but you don't make it go backwards and sideways and like a zip.
No, stop it.
No, do it. Scrolling text that doesn't blur at me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was one of those films that was like a hard watch in similar ways to. It reminded me of watching Novocaine.
Oh,
in that sort of like, yeah, this film has its levity and its comedic moments, but also there are going to be times where you are like, I'm gonna have to wince and brace at some pretty intense
shit.
Some angry criminals doing some
I would
brutal
argue
shit.
it's got way less levity moments than Novocaine.
Oh yeah, no. Its finale sort of like starts heading that way. It's a lot more just unflinchingly like the thing in its mid portion.
Oh yes.
It's a good film though. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
What about you? What else have you put in your eyes
We watched
and/or
season
ears?
10 of Doctor Who. We watched the last Capaldi season, last full Capaldi season. We've got a Capaldi special, and then we're straight into Jodie.
Yeah, so we've finished the core content of Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who run. I was saying this while we were watching. Generally speaking, I feel way more positive about Capaldi's run as the Doctor after this sort of binged rewatch.
I think it's a mixture of the binge rewatch and time, maybe. I remember at the time feeling like so many things in it just fucking annoyed me, and at the time
Agreed.
I remember putting it down as the writing. But I think you made a good point this evening that it's not really the writing so much as some of the decisions about where the story was going, some of the decisions about things that were going to happen, and like, I understand why certain things happened. Like, we both, like, as soon as the fucking Sonic sunglasses came out, were like, so we're getting midlife crisis Doctor now. That's where we are with this. But then we get to the point where the Doctor is blind and he's basically using them as sonar.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense that they needed to be there, but also just,
I'll say this about it. The things that annoyed me about this era of Doctor Who haven't gone away.
No.
And some
Matt
of
Lucas is still in it.
And some of these things annoy me perhaps even more than they did before.
Yeah.
But watching it this additional time through and going, cool, I know what to expect with the things that are going to annoy me. I want to give this a fair shake and look for the things that are good. And it's not that, like, the things that annoyed me stopped annoying me, but I was able to see the good through the bad more clearly. I think a lot of what I'd put down to bad writing, I think ultimately goes down to me being really annoyed with Clara's writing specifically.
Oh, God,
like,
I fucking hate Clara.
I maintain that Clara's 3 seasons of 3 times being the most important character who's ever been in Doctor Who. The most important, like, to the point where it feels like they're trying to say she's more important than the Doctor multiple times over.
Yep.
It gets...
What if we realise that this is the last incarnation of the Doctor? He's not going to regenerate after this, and instead we're going to make this the Clara and Ishilda series.
There's a lot of things like that do annoy me, and I won't pretend there aren't bad episodes or episodes where I feel like the writing that Capaldi is given to work with is poor. But
I think he's a brilliant actor.
I think he's a fantastic actor, but more so, particularly as we got to this Matt Lucas and Bill, what's the other?
Bill Potts.
Yeah,
Precious Bill Potts, who deserve better.
Particularly getting to their season, I don't think there were any notably memorably bad episodes in that season. Matt Lucas annoyed me a lot less than I anticipated he would, even if just because in most episodes he was less present than expected. But like, really wasn't as bad as I'd braced for. There were a couple of really superb, like, top fucking notch 2-parters in this most recent season. The double episode double or triple episode with the monks, superb. The season finale of this season was some of the best stuff in a while. Everything with Missy has been superb.
I love Missy. Missy's great.
And I want to give credit to Capaldi has some of the best monologue speeches in all of New Who.
Yeah.
At his peaks, I prefer him to Matt Smith, to Tennant. I would put him up there with Eccleston in terms of, like, my favourite New Who Doctors, like, at their peaks. There are multiple times where Capaldi pulled out a speech that made me feel the way that, like, Eccleston in that first meeting with the Dalek episode did, where I was like, oh, this shit is going to stay with me.
I think once we'd got past Clara, so that we could stop having those moments of, we're going to treat it like the Doctor doesn't know how to talk to people, and Clara's going to have to translate and, like, teach him how to be more human in interacting with people. And he's still brash and sometimes quite rude to people, but he does get a lot more human and more doctory once Clara's left.
Yeah, like,
because I think they've stopped trying to write him in a way that she's the important one, he's kind of her foil.
Yeah, because when I think about this run of Capaldi episodes we've been watching, what I think about is every time that he steps up to the plate with this is a harsh truth and you're not going to want to hear it, but I am right. And I have put you in a situation where you are going to just have to put your fucking squabbles aside for a minute and recognise the bigger picture.
Yes.
And it goes, there is a reason why the Doctor has this reputation for saving the universe everywhere he goes. It's because he does have the perspective needed, particularly around war, to understand the subject and to go, I know what I needed to be told when I was in the midst of war. Be it with the, I am going to distill war into 2 boxes, and there are 2 buttons. You're either gonna kill your own people or their people, and you don't know which one's gonna die until you press the war button. Shit like that is superb. Yeah, there's a lot of this run I do really, really, really like. When they allow him to be more desperate, I really like as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's a thing that we kind of lost after Eccleston, is an actor who portrays the Doctor in a way that, like, shows this is a lot of fucking pressure to put on one person, and it is terrifying, and sometimes that gets to him in a way that is human.
Yes.
Yeah, generally really enjoyed this run.
Yeah.
Even last thought I'm having. The finale that we watched tonight once again teased a concept I really want Doctor Who to one day not be a coward and actually fucking do, which is give the Doctor a companion who is a humanized and interesting to interact with member of a formerly mostly enemy faction or species. We could have had, like, G1 Cyberman Bill Potts. Right?
Yeah,
I'm like, they could have kept her on for another season and had G1 Cyberman companion, and that would have been one of the most interesting companions they'd ever done. They could have done it with fucking Clara the Dalek.
The Clark.
Right?
They could have put Bill in like that. It would have been interesting.
Right, give me a season where everywhere they go, they have to face the fact that, like, people are going to be a little terrified of the Doctor's companion.
Yeah.
But the Doctor's reputation as someone they should trust might get them over that hurdle. There's shit to explore there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other thoughts, or...
No, that's it. Yes. Bits of it are a slog.
Clara's the slog.
It was interesting watching it with you, who had almost entirely forgotten everything about the series.
I feel like I
didn't
see this season.
Whereas I'm pretty sure I didn't watch it on its original run, and then I watched it later while doing a previous rewatch.
I think I skipped from Clara's departure to Jodie Whittaker joining, I think.
One look at Matt Lucas and was like, nope.
I'd purged Matt Lucas. Like, even seeing him on screen didn't remind me he'd been in the show. Nothing in my brain recognised that as an episode.
He turned up in that Christmas episode and I was like, oh fuck, it's the Matt Lucas season. I'd forgotten about this.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't remember this at all. And then, like, you were getting, like, all, like, brainstorming about what's in the vault, and I'm like, I know, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
And then during the last few episodes, with the guy that was looking after Bill while she was downstairs in the time dilation world, and talking to that guy, and you were like, this guy seems really interesting. He seems kind of like the person you meet in a smoking area at a rave. And I was like, I fucking hope not. I was like, very quietly like, I fucking hope not.
I mean, like the people you meet at the smoking area of a rave, it might turn out they're an absolute fucking monster.
It might turn out they're the master.
Yeah, you watched or listened to anything else?
Yes. I have watched the first 2 episodes of a web series called The Comic Shop.
Ooh, yeah.
This was a series that I kickstarted a while back, about a black-owned comic shop, like an office-style mockumentary type of, like, you'll get, like, little bits to camera, like, where the characters introduce themselves, and you'll get, like, shots of, like, you'll get, like, whip pans around the room of, like, oh yeah, we were here in the actual space recording the things happening as part of some sort of program. Like, in the pilot episode, there is a moment where somebody who is a writer for an online geek news outlet turns to the cameras and asks them what outlet they write for, which was quite fun. The initial story, the pilot episode is about they're doing Free Comic Book Day, and they have a special guest coming, but the main character isn't a huge fan of her writing, but he's still like, yep, this person's going to help us get the rent fucking paid, and that's the important thing. The second episode's very, very cute. It's about Cheyenne, I think it's Sarah is the character's name. Her mum is coming to visit, and her mum's always like very like judgmental, severe black mum, as I'm sure a lot of people will understand and relate to. And like just like nothing is ever good enough, nothing is ever right, and she's convinced that eventually her daughter's just going to come home. And she's like, no, I'm doing the thing, I'm working really hard, I'm making this happen. And next door have a rat problem. And one of those rats has got into the comic shop, so it's a case of trying to run around and catch the rat and keep it away from Mum while she comes and visits. And there's a couple of other stories going on in that episode as well. Third episode is out now, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And I am glad I kickstarted it. I'm glad to see that it's out there in the world. It is available on Awkward Virgo TV on YouTube, on that channel. You can find all of the episodes that are going up. So far 3 episodes are up, and I believe they're going up weekly on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's everything I've watched.
I listened to one thing that was interesting.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, so, the news of this floated around a couple of days ago, and the track became available today. Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance is the vocalist of a new band called The Mock-Ups, which is largely made of members of a different band called The Interrupters.
So it's technically a supergroup?
I guess. So The Interrupters, they are a ska punk band with a female vocalist.
We like ska.
I really enjoyed... I went and listened to some of their music in curious anticipation about this. I listened to a track called She's Kerosene. They're very fun, The Interrupters. They are very good knees-uppy ska.
Pick it up.
But with, like, pretty clear punk and rock influences. The kind of stuff where it's, you can hear that they're shouting some pretty good political stuff, like, stuff while you're having a knees up. Have a knees up while hating the establishment kind of tunes. I was like, I can get behind that. They're pretty cool. So before I describe this first track that the mock-ups have put out, it's unclear exactly how much music this is going to lead to getting released, or whether they're going to, perform live or anything, because from what I can tell, this is music that was recorded back in 2022, it seems, because the track was done with a producer who passed away that year, who was the producer on when Gerard Way did the Hesitant Aliens solo project. Who passed away, and it seems like they sat on this music for a while, feeling like unsure what to do with it after he'd passed away.
This is probably the music that we heard rumblings about of somebody being like, I've just been in X studio and My Chemical Romance are making music. What they saw was Gerard Way in the studio.
It might have been that. It might have just been them doing studio time to practice for the tour, because that was around when the first reunion tour happened.
I guess, yeah.
So it might be that there is an album worth coming. Maybe, who knows what this project will be. But right now there's one track, and that track is called I Want to Know Your Name. It's a very interesting track. I would best describe where it fits sound-wise as, like, if you took a punk track and put it through, like, 80s Britpop audio production, particularly around the vocals, it's doing a lot of, like, very 80s Britpop vocal production on a quite raw, distorted punk track. It's an interesting...
That makes sense, yeah.
It's a very interesting mix. It definitely feels more in line with the stuff that was being done on Hesitant Aliens than it does either My Chemical Romance's discography or the more ska-forward stuff that the Interrupters are doing. It feels very at home with, like, the Hesitant Aliens solo Gerard Way stuff in terms of, like, it's got this older feel to it, despite being new music. It's taking a lot of inspirations from older bands rather than more contemporary ones. Gerard Way's vocals are pretty clean in the mix, so for the people, I know there were people that it was contentious, the heavily distorted vocal mix on Foundations of Decay, which is, I think, the last thing that there were Gerard Way vocals on. This is a much cleaner and more forward-positioned vocal mix. Yeah, it's a real catchy track. It's got a good sort of, like, dramatic drum build as it goes that's very... It feels like it would go great at the start of a set to, like, as it builds, get you, like, hyped for more music. It's a real fun track.
Yeah.
It's one I've been listening to a fair chunk today.
Nice.
So that is I Want to Know Your Name by The Mock-Ups.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's everything I've put in my eyes and ears this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I've been trying to come up with ways that we can better market our games.
Right.
And I think I'm onto something new here.
Yeah.
So, you know how when Journey 35 or whatever it was came out earlier this year?
Yeah.
And, like, it got a bunch of positive press because, like, oh, it was only made by, like, 30 people or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, that was, like, a thing that got it positive press.
Yeah.
Well, we can't make Call of Duty on that few people. Like, that's impossible.
Have we tried?
Trust me, if we could, I would. I don't want to be paying as many people as we pay.
I'd love to pay less people.
But they seem to have mental breakdowns when we try and have even fewer of them.
How do we get more resilient staff?
Well, see, until we work that out, I got a sidestep solution.
Nice.
We don't have fewer people work on the game.
Right.
We just stop crediting people who work on the game.
Nice. I hate crediting people.
Right? We put it in the contracts that, like, oh, you're we come up with some bullshit term. You're like
you're a ghostwriter.
You're an independent in-house contractor, not an employee or something.
Oh, then we don't have to give them, like, holiday benefits.
I'll talk to legal, see if we can make that work. But if we can get it in there that we don't have to credit them, and we have, like, I don't know, only me and you and, like, one coder or whatever in the credits.
Yeah. Oh, but we could put Hannah in there.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we get, like, 3 people in the credits.
Yeah.
And then we can pretend, like, hey, we're a 3-person indie studio that made this big-budget game. Isn't that impressive? Give us all the praise for the game.
Yeah, and then
just
in 10 years' time, we'll be back to celebrate how good we, small independent creator, had it. And how we changed the world and revolutionized games.
And then if the tides change and people's interests change, we can be like, we can start crediting again and go, look how good a sign for industry health it is that we, a small indie, could scale up like this.
Right.
What a story of success for the little guy.
The littlest guy.
The littlest guy.
But we're the hugest guy.
Yeah,
Hugest
we are
possible
the
guy.
hugest guy, yes.
A towering colossus stomping through the New York skyline.
Destroying everything in our path.
Yeah, crushing the little ones and, maybe picking them up and throwing them in the walls and, just smashing and destroying and, like crushing all the cars and there's people running and screaming and I swat a helicopter out of the sky and then there's people firing like missile launchers and I like pick up a tank and like twist it in half and like roar and then like fire a laser beam across. Yeah. What were we talking about?
How we are geniuses, I think.
You are a fucking genius.
And you too, probably.
I know.
Do you struggle with being the center of attention?
Yeah.
Find it difficult when all eyes are on you?
Yeah.
Put it in the angst bank, and we'll spread the anxiety evenly over the next 12 months, so you can enjoy a special moment like a surprise birthday or an important speech. Replace the moment of extreme fear with 12 months of extremely minor, low-lying dread. Go on, put it in the angst bank.
I'm consciously a little bit terrified. Just a little, though.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social justice warriors.
Social justice warriors?
Yeah.
Right, Harry.
Right, Barry, how you doing?
Oh, finding this voice much harder this week because I've been enunciating.
Oh,
How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
It's gotten darker and colder and wetter recently.
Have you remembered to get the sad lamp?
Oh, I have gotten the sad lamp out.
Excellent.
Doing my best to fight it.
Yeah.
Despite that, it's been a little, my body's felt the change in the seasons that has rapidly approached.
Well, yeah, because like me, you've got them barometric knees.
Oh, them barometric knees. I've got a little of that seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Also, weirdly, the tism gets a little shaky when the weather changes.
Well, it's getting wet more often, and we know how you feel about that, mate.
Oh, wet clothes clinging to the skin,
No,
not
thank you.
fun.
No.
And that in turn means I'm probably going to change my routine. Change your routine.
No, thank you.
Right,
Changing the types of clothes you're wearing.
Oh,
Having
it's-
to wear more of them.
right.
That's more risk of labels.
Exactly. And I used to beat myself up a lot about that.
Oh,
about
mate.
winter would suddenly arrive and I'd be like, why am I being so unproductive? Why am I being, sadder, more prone to having a little rot back and forth or whatever? It's very easy to not give yourself credit for the fact that, it's a big change that the world is doing and your body is gonna inevitably have responses to that. We're human, our environment does impact us.
Absolutely,
And
mate.
it's just trying to remind myself to be gentle with myself if I need a week or two to adjust to the fact that the planet changed and it's different now.
It sure did, mate. Yeah. Well, how about something that doesn't change? Would you like a hug?
Oh, that never changes, of course. Yeah.
There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug. Right, I think I'll go and have a little bit of ice cream, I think. Soothe the throat.
sounds lovely.
Nice.
So, where people do the findings of you upon the internet?
Me, Laura K. Buzz, pretty much everywhere on the internet. That's where the stuff is. LauraKBuzzStore.com. That's where you'll find audiobooks of Uncomfortable Labels and Things I Learned from Maria's Butt. Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. YouTube, you will, not this week, but next week, you'll see my accessibility review for Ghosts of Yote, is going up. Podquisition, Dice Funk, other projects, Controller Access, go check out all the things I do.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Where are you out on the internet?
Patreon.com/StoneToMonkeyRadio. As little as $1 a month can help this show happen. Even during a hiatus. It'll help it return after the hiatus. And all the other stuff. And I stream on Thursdays over on twitch.tv/Janiac. Usually with Lauren yelling in me. and sometimes Alice the Ice Cream Witch. So yeah, come say hi if you fancy. And yeah, that's about it for me. So Laura,
Yeah?
will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger. I think his name started as Frank and changed to Dad at some point in the skit.
Stabby Uncle Frank Dan.
Stabby Uncle Frick Dan. Yeah, he had many names, much like he had many knives.
Many knives. Or maybe he just had one knives and put it in a lot of people. In, out, you shake it all in the back. You do a massive stabby and you turn it around. That's what it's all about.
That's your great Uncle Frank.
Oh, great Uncle Frank.
Oh, great Uncle Frank. Oh, great Uncle Frank.
Stab, 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 stab. Well, I guess that's going after the credits now.